Today, we're answering a smart question from a viewer about hiring a spouse, hiring children into a family business, right? If you structure it properly, it's a strategy that really can create some significant tax advantages. It can strengthen retirement savings, but it also carries some risk with it if it's handled incorrectly. So, we'll take you into that process today with Dennis. Welcome into Dollars with Dennis. Glad to have you on the show. I am Ben George. He is Dennis Hoare, as always, at Faith 401k Money Management. He is the founder and president there and an investment and retirement planning professional. Dennis, I think it's a great topic because, of course, it's personal for you, right? Because you do have some family helping you out in the family business. And, of course, you work with a lot of business owners.
Yeah, how about that? It's always the challenge is to look for somebody that's going to fill a role and do something important for you. And if you can keep it in the family, I think that is a wise thing. But also, so both of my kids have worked here throughout the summer in different occasions. We have. So one suggestion I would have for people: if you're going to bring a family member into the business, you want to make sure you have a contract of what they're going to do, what they're going to get paid for that, because the IRS is going to want to know that as well. But you want to have some specifics in there so that they know what they're doing and how they're helping. And one of my favorite lines is we went to lunch with a client and my daughter was there and the HR lady says, so you're helping out the office now. She says, what are you doing in Dad's business? And she just came up and said, everything nobody else wants to do. Basically, she said all the crap nobody else wants to do. and so that's one of the advantages. You can get somebody to do something that maybe they wouldn't necessarily do that. But for sure, that's a helpful part. But you want to do it the right way and structure that.
Yeah. We'll talk about how to do that here over the next 5 to 10 minutes as we get into this video. But if you have questions for Dennis, 401k.faith, great place to start if you are a business owner. If you have questions about this or just looking for planning as a business owner, I know it can be difficult and it's something that, you need help with, and Dennis and the team are there to help you. So again, 401k.faith. But as I mentioned, this is from a question that came in. They really kind of sparked this conversation for us, Dennis. So I'll throw it out there for people to kind of give you some context. But the question was, I'm self-employed and I run a small business. And I've heard some people say that you can hire your spouse or even your kids to work for the business and there could be some tax benefits. Is that true? How does it work? And are there any other advantages or things I should watch out for? So let's just start with really the tax benefits there, because that was kind of the core of the question. What are some of those tax benefits that maybe you can potentially get out of hiring a spouse or children to work within your family business?
Well, so I mentioned my kids working here, so paying them any money, they're in a much lower tax bracket than I'm in, and so that gives them some money that they can use to fund a Roth IRA or do other things, but it gets it off of my taxable income. In that case, so that's a help. Spouse, I've had a client that we worked with their 401k and went there. The wife already worked there, and she was making a little bit. He was making a lot, and we went through some numbers and said, well, if you increase her pay up to here, then she could max out the 401k that she can't do now and take it off yours, and so that worked out tremendous for them to get her getting more money into 401k on a pre-tax basis. So it helped from a tax savings at that point. And every time I would see her, she would thank me for giving her that pay raise. So even did it, but it's just juggling the numbers around in different places to get the most for your benefit.
Absolutely. I know you talked about that. You have to structure this properly, right? Because there are some specific rules and requirements. I'm sure you can't just, pay somebody for work they're not doing or pay an exorbitant amount, right? I mean, the IRS will be watching.
Yep, yeah, for sure. So we have an employment contract with my kids to do that, and we have the duties that they have in there, what they'll get paid, that kind of stuff. So we do send them a 1099 so they get taxed on it at their level and so forth. So you want to follow the rules. You don't want to take shortcuts in that avenue. You want to make sure that it's an education for them as well. And who knows that child coming up and working in your business maybe sometimes becomes the next generation or the successor plan. one of my other clients, I know that I use this line with my kids too, but he started it. He has a son and daughter that he made them. They were in the business. He made them go work elsewhere for a couple years and with the competitors, and then come back to work with them. And I stole that line from him, and I told my kids, you wouldn't come to work for me after you're ready to you go to work for Fidelity, J.P. Morgan, somebody like that for 2 to 3 years. And they'll always say, well, why would I do that? I said, because you won't listen to me. I don't have time to train you. They have great training programs. You'll learn lots from them. And if you spend 2 or 3 years with one of the big firms, you'll be dying to come back here and work. And so far that hasn't happened, but we keep pushing that envelope.
And that's one of the benefits too, right? I mean, it goes beyond just financial benefits, immediately. It also goes to that. Yeah, you can maybe establish a succession plan potentially and work on teaching kids more about your business, which is finance. I think there's always some really great lessons to learn in that, even if you aren't looking to do it long term.
Right. And the client that does it, I mean, both of his kids are back working in the business full time, and it's alleviating him and his wife are both in the business. So they're able to slow down and start enjoying life even a little bit more because they've done all the right planning. They have the resources there, and now they have a succession plan that is pretty solid with people they know, trust, and love. And that's important to everybody, every business for sure.
Yeah, definitely. And we're talking about, hiring spouse, hiring kids into the family business. And, we talk tax benefits and some of the specific rules there. But what about from a retirement planning standpoint? What kind of options does it open up when you bring in your family? What kind of benefits long term when you're looking at that planning aspect can it provide?
Yeah, so if you can get money into retirement accounts for them, we're actually looking at that thought now for next year with my wife coming to work here part-time where she can get some income and put into the 401k plan just to increase her savings a little bit more. But more specifically, I mean, we had to, for my kids, we had to they had to have an underage work permit because you have to be 18. So we had to get a work permit for them through the school. We had to get a physical for them, stuff like that. But when they made money, then we would we opened a Roth IRA for them that they put it in so they could see the benefit of that money going to work for them. And now they're really, after you get a little bit of money, they're pretty much doing it on their own now. And so they've learned from it and they continue to do that. So they're maxing out company matches and tax savings and the benefits come along with having a real job or a paycheck coming in every day, every week.
Yeah, that's a good one. All right. Mistake wise, then, I know, like, as we mentioned, there are some risks that come with this. What are the most common mistakes that you see business owners make when trying to bring on family members?
Not having a written game plan of who's doing what, personality checks. So, I could just see my wife's pretty strong in her personality and her influence. She could come here and turn things upside down pretty quickly. so we've got to make sure that we have the right guardrails in place and that we're doing the things we need to get done and we keep everybody in their own lane. So that's important. Job description is really important and adjusting to that. And family members are going to be always the first that can or might take advantage of the goodness of everybody around. So you got to watch for that as well.
Yeah, that's a good point. Well, look, if you are someone that needs help with planning, if you are a business owner, again, you can get in touch with Dennis, 401k.faith. And Dennis, just touch on a little bit of how you guys help business owners prepare for retirement. Because I know it's a big transition. It's a little bit different for business owners versus an individual.
Yeah, getting a succession plan is one thing, but having enough money in your investment plan to be able to pay your pay when you get out. So many small business owners will think they'll sell their business or they'll cash out of their business to do that, and that's not always the case. It doesn't always work that way. So you want to make sure you have enough personal savings and investments to replace that income when the time comes, just in case you can't. Or if you turn it over to family members, they're going to take the income and you're not going to get it. So lots of preparation happens in the planning process for sure.
Absolutely. And it's always best to have someone on your side that can do that. And Dennis is an investment and retirement planning professional and the founder and owner at Faith 401k and Money Management. Again, get in touch, 401k.faith. All the contact info is in the show description. All right, please subscribe to the video if you haven't already. Our channel, we appreciate your support to those that already have. Thanks for being here with us. We look forward to talking to you again soon.
Thanks, Ben.
Securities and investment advisory services offered through Osaic Wealth, Inc., member FINRA SIPC. Osaic Wealth is separately owned, and other entities and/or marketing names, products, or services referenced here are independent of Osaic Wealth.